I am an Elliot main who is at Milestone 4 and been playing for quite a bit for the past few months since my sister introduced me to this game. I learned a lot in this time, like the stuff I'm about to teach you. Again, yes, I am a Milestone 4. I've got the skin and the receipts to prove it, so yeah, I'd say that you'd be able to trust me. I will be covering things that you should know, anything from the basics to some more advanced stuff to help you on your journey. Quick warning though, this video will not make you a pro, nor will it make you. Even I, yes, I, as a Milestone 4, still die plenty of times. But I have learned things that has helped me to become at least decent at the game. Another thing I want to say, sorry if the footage doesn't look the best. Recorded it on console because it was convenient at the time, then uploaded to YouTube, then downloaded on the PC, so yeah, the bitrate and resolution might be all over the place, but that shouldn't matter too much. And before I get started, you'll also want to learn juking, something I won't cover in this video, but extremely important. Since Elliot does not have any way to defend himself, I recommend looking up a guide after you're done watching. Or not, your choice. Let's begin. So first of all, let's do a rundown on Elliot. He is the first support in the game, and in my opinion, the strongest. His pizza that he throws is devastating to any killer. It heals 15 HP from the get-go, but it will slowly heal to 20 over the span of a few seconds. It heals 5% more as generators are done, and it caps at 25%. More on generators later. After healing a survivor who is not Elliot, for some reason, you get Rush Hour. It gives you speed 3 for 3 seconds. Not a lot, but if you play smart, it can go long ways. Because remember, you only have it once, and to get it again, you have to heal someone. Other than Ellie, because he sucks, right? Beware, he only has 80 health though, which means he has the least health in the game, meaning he's able to be killed much easier. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind that you can see whenever somebody gets hit, you can see them through the wall highlighted in yellow. More on this later. Now again, Elliot is pretty weak, has no way to defend himself except if you're fortunate for someone to acknowledge you and your pizza's existence and got Rush Hour to use. How not to die. That is much easier said than done. First of all, I want to say, I don't mean this in an egotistical way or in a narcissistic way, but as an Elliot, you are the most valuable asset to the team. You die easy, so that is why you need to stay out of harm's way while healing the crew. Here's a mistake that I made at first, where I would use myself as a shield to make sure this person wouldn't die. Don't ever do that, unless it's very situational. Again, you are very valuable, and most of the time, you're the only Elliot in the lobby. It is best to let a common guest die than to let a valuable Elliot die, since he is the best survivor for healing. In the situational circumstances, to use yourself as a shield would be if there's really not much time on the clock and you have full health. This killer right here, he's running after a chance, one more hit, down for the count. Forsaken to die of death.
Say that again?
But if you look, you're as healthy as a horse. Just take a couple of hits for the homies and you'll save the entire team from another 30 seconds added after the chance dies. Who would have been flipping a coin to decide whether he's going up or down. You also hardly ever want to stay in the killer's sight. Most killers will go after Elliot's when they spot you, but you do want to stay in the proximity if there is a survivor near so you can throw in a pizza. In these situations, if you're giving a pizza to someone running from the killer, just throw it, peace out. You want nothing to do with what is going on there. You get paid minimum wage, you cannot afford hospital bills, or, death. You also have to remember that Elliot is left-handed, meaning he dies sooner for some reason, but that also means that he throws pizza with his left hand. In other news, water's wet. But this is actually quite important for aiming. Sounds dumb, I know, but it really helps, especially when you want to throw a pizza directly at the survivor. Survivors are more likely to eat a pizza you force feed than to pick up from the ground. For some reason. When you play as Elliot, you will soon realize Forsaken players kinda suck. Again, I cannot stress enough that you need to learn juking. You can't just pull out a pizza and slap the killer silly with it. It's a battle of wits and maneuvering. There are many guides online you can check out to better yourself and people in game that's willing to help you. Also another thing, it is very important to keep your stamina up, and that goes for every character. If you let it hit 0, it takes a few seconds to get your stamina back up, Some situations, time you don't have. Even if you let it go down to 1, your stamina recharges much faster. If the killer is close, you probably want a minimum of 20 though. It's enough to break ankles in attempting to get away. Of course, stamina storage comes from experience, like juking, looping, everything else, but you can always look up guides, but you can also always ask players in the game if you want. Also, do not feel ashamed taking items at the beginning of a round, like colas and especially medkits. If a person needs a medkit though, I would give it to them, especially if you don't have a pizza. Remember that usually you were the only Elliot in a lobby, so there's usually nobody to heal you. If there's someone that can heal, like Builderman and fellow Elliot, you are a whole lot more likely to survive. Just remember to not let your ego take over and put good judgment on who needs a pizza or medkit most. Also, stealing stuff is cheap.
A Chaos Emerald? You've got to be kidding me, guys. This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
Don't be like this dude. What? Who is this dude, though? Is he that Sonic everyone is talking about? Also, something I wanted to jam in real quick. Just please don't use a rush hour willy-nilly, please. I said please twice. Only use it in uncertain chases, last man standing, something you actually want to save it for if possible. Don't die saving it though. And lastly, I'll make an exception for a pizza emergency. You get rush hour back after throwing a pizza, even while in the middle of using it, although it's on a cooldown. Anyways, that was some pretty cool tips, right? But to fully put these to use, you need a... So what's the game, coach? Run in circles. Then what? Then we win. Not a bad game idea. Okay, what is the real strats? In my opinion, this is what you should keep in mind throughout. Do you have a pizza? Check your highlights. Check people's health on the bottom left. If you disable it, enable it. Which, why would you disable it, weirdo? Don't have a pizza? Stay busy. Do generators, because after every puzzle you can heal 5% more, and it takes down a few seconds on the timer. No objectives left to do, and you are free. Enjoy life by emoting in the corner until your 40 seconds is up, then you gotta go heal someone again. Okay, come to think of it, this was a pretty short chapter. I don't think people realize that priorities is such a major thing to take into consideration. You can't just feed a guest at 92% HP when...
I'm a little low on health. I need a pizza. Did you just get that pizza to the guest? Do you realize how low on health I am right now? Can you comprehend how low of health is low? That guest was at, I'm sure, 114 HP. That is 1 HP lower from what guests usually have, huh? I am at 1 HP. 1! Can your stupid little tiny brain understand how low that is compared to him? Can you understand that I needed that? He did not. A piece of dust flew on him, I'm sure. I get my piece of dust just like a wind could blow me over and I'm dead. Wind alone. No like the mass infections, the entanglements, they don't need that. No, they don't need no corrupt natures. All they need is wind. All they need is wind. Your tiny little stupid brain can't comprehend this. Do I need to speak in your language? Here, I'll speak it in your language. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Do you understand that I need that pizza and at least that and that guest does not need that in any centimeters at all away from anything. He does not need it. Anything at all could hit me. You could live like you're speaking to me like you accidentally spit, I'm dead. You accident, like you blink at me and I'm dead. You look at me the wrong way, I'm dead. You don't realize the guest did not need that at all. He wanted it. He was hungry. He didn't have food for 1 hour. I've been fighting for my life out there. You've been emoting in the corner the entire game with your little guest friend, and I'm here. I am fighting for my life. I'm the only other person other than you. And you think that the guest is like he's so important. Wow, he hit one block. He didn't even punch. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything at all. He's running, he's emoting. That's all. He dies. That's all. But I'm sure he won't, because you're giving him the baby treatment when I actually needed that, and your stupid little tiny brain doesn't even realize I exist. You're still.
Now I do understand that it's kind of hard to memorize stuff. That's why I made flashcards. But the thing is, I didn't. The flashcards are a lie. You definitely should feed someone if they are at half health. And I might make an exception if they are at around 60 or something. If someone is being chased by the killer, they are a much higher priority. Do you know how devastating it is when an Elliot comes along and is just undoing your murder? That puts a lot of pressure on someone.
Say it again.
If there's another Elliot in the lobby, which is like, never, then they are much higher in the priority. Sure, you don't get rush hour, but it is much more important to keep another Elliot alive who can do your job when the pizza's still baking. They can also take over if you're dead. They can heal you, so they won't have to take over because you're dead. That doesn't mean you should always feed the Elliot. If there is someone at low health running away from a killer, I'm gonna feed them over the Elliot that has 60% health. But if I had a choice between a Shadletsky and an Elliot in the same critical condition, my pizza goes to the Elliot so that another pizza could go to the Shadletsky. See what I'm saying? TLDR, always feed someone on low health or when they're being chased, and Elliots are a little higher in the priority list as they can still feed others. One last thing, I have no shame in saying this, toxic players are so low on the priority list that they don't get fed. Do you really think that a sweaty, toxic Milestone IV guest deserves to be healed? If you shall not be polite, you shall not eat. I changed a couple of words, but my point's still there. And who knows? Might be for the better. If they rage quit because they died unfairly in a video game, maybe they'll finally get out of their mom's basement and take a shower. Also, one last thing on the topic. Notice I didn't put friends in the priority list. Treat your friends like every other player. They shouldn't get brownie points for playing with you. Also, never healed AFK players because they'll just, die anyway. With priorities out of the way, I just want to go briefly on. Last Man Standing, or LMS, is not fun as Elliot. Shadletsky has a slash with a short cooldown. Noob has many ways to counter killers. 007 and 7 just bails out. But Elliot, what's he got? Well, he can give the killer a pizza, and the killer will be so overwhelmed by the Elliot's kindness that they can learn the power of friendship. But on a more serious note, Last Man Standing is really difficult if you are an Elliot. Pretty much beforehand for preparations, you want two things. A good old energy drink paired with a rush hour. These things are very nice to save for Last Man Standing, but if it will really get you or someone else killed because you saved it for Last Man Standing, just use it. It's not worth it to throw the game like that for something that might not ever even come. Now for when you are in Last Man Standing, oh boy. First of all, here's the rules. As soon as it starts, the killer is highlighted to the survivor, and vice versa. The timer trademark is then set at 1 minute and 15 seconds. I don't think I mentioned this, but you should definitely know something that a certain samurai does. Like, he took ankles and everything, but what's that technical term? Oh, that's right. Learn juking. If you get done with this video and you still don't try to learn juking, you are cruising for a bruising. Because the majority of Last Man Standings are just dodging the killer harder than any basketball player ever. Something else to remember, You can only take around 3 hits, thanks to your low health. Thank the Spectre for that. The moves that are the most helpful to you will be Rush Hour, Bloxy-Cola, and when you have time, medkits. Small little tip, it's best to use medkits if a cool kid has lost you because they have 0 tracking and instead have these slow, probably late pizza delivery dudes.
Pizza time.
With you being alone and defenseless, you're most likely not going to survive if you're a beginner, but don't worry, dying is a part of learning, it's alright. Yes, you're going to want to learn juking, at least the basics, because even the basics can get you pretty far, and that's all you can really depend on in Last Man Standing. The one rule, the one antidote to absolutely own those targeters is that you don't. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do about people targeting. I will say one thing that might be a little controversial. I think targeting pros and supports first is a pretty good strategy, but there's way too many times killers will just lock onto one person and no matter who is in the way, they'll go after you. Even after wasting 75% of their round, they're still after you. No matter how many people are using themselves as shields to protect you, they're still after you. And in those cases, the best thing you can do is 2 things. You're most likely gonna die in the hands of a targeter, so fall back on your team for protection and waste as much of their time as possible. Yeah, sure. They may get that last second kill on you and get 30 seconds, but now they have like a minute to find someone, just someone to kill. That's the best thing you can do is just make the killer lose pretty much. There's unfortunately nothing you can really do. Hiding and wasting their time is the best thing you can do, so do that, I suppose. Also, quick chapter. Toxic players suck, and you're just gonna have to deal with that pretty much. Get called a targeter when you chase them for more than 3 seconds. Killers have now found a new term, runner, which is literally the main thing you do in this game, but you know, whatever. So, and also people are just overall doo-doo human beings, so just a heads up. Couple of last things to know. I will say one thing, and that this game is very beginner unfriendly, and the community does not help all that much. I was lucky to be in a not very good server and my sister to hold my hand the way through, but most people won't be so lucky. And while, yeah, that sucks, dying really is a part of learning. You should actually take notes on why you died. So maybe you can get a better understanding of things you should do. I mean, hey, I messed up before. Who hasn't? I should still learn from mistakes in video games and take mental notes on it, so if you're new to the game, that's fine. If you're not, it's still fine. Elliott's not the easiest class to play. But with that out of the way, here's some tips. I've already covered this, but Elliot is left-handed and is important to consider when you're aiming your pizza. Most of the time you want to throw the pizza to hit the survivor. It is much quicker to heal them, some don't even notice it. Some killers will kill them before they can even get to it, or be jerks and set up a tent and plan to sit on it all game. So yeah, you want your shots to be accurate as possible, and that is why it is important to remember that he's left-handed. One last thing, and it's true, Elliots are just not really that respected as they should be. It's almost kind of like Medic in Team Fortress 2. Not very many people play as him, but when they do, they're just exclusively used as a tool. Insulted by toxic players, not really defended. You know, there was a game once where there was a chance at the end of the round that just spontaneously said, "Bro, this Elliot sucks." Wow, such poetry from an MLG chance that died the round that I survived. That's pretty cool. You'll get these people often. Elliot sucks. What is the Elliot doing? Elliot should reset character in that way. I never gotten that one, but you know what I mean. But here is something I want to say to people who don't main Elliot. Just help us out. When we're dying, give us medkits. If you're a sentinel, protect us when we are dying. Most importantly, compliment us when we do something right. I'll admit it. That was a smile on my face when I saw some people say things like Elliot carried or W Elliot. At the same time, don't lie to us, but also don't be toxic. If we did something wrong, tell us. Politely tell us how we could do better. Me personally, I would love to hear constructive criticism, even though my character is maxed out, and I'm sure many others would like the same thing. I want to give a special thanks to my sister Amy Sears Reviews, aka GiggleMonkey4 on Roblox, who helped out with some footage, was in the gameplay with me, and actually had the idea of the priority skit. Also, I'd like to mention that she had zero script in the recording, so, you know, that's pretty cool. I hope this guide helps new Elliot players in their journey, and maybe help some people who were already Elliot mains learning something new. Because I'm sure that this will open plenty of doors on your journey.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Noah logging off. Take care.